Welcome back to Primetime News. A special welcome if you're on OneSpotMedia.com.
A reminder as well that you can download our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the word Spot and Media.
There was high drama in downtown Kingston this afternoon after residents caught a man they claim tried to abduct a teenage girl on 2 separate occasions today.
Persons gathered at a police station trying to catch a glimpse of the alleged abductor while insisting that the police allow them to take matters into their hands. TVJ's Kirk Wright was on location.
The news spread fast and the crowd grew quickly outside the city center police station in downtown Kingston. The crowd wanted to administer their own justice to a man they say tried to abduct a schoolgirl. The police had to close the station door for security reasons. A man we spoke to said he was there about 6:20 this morning when the alleged abductor tried to pull away the girl.
Him come and stand up to the girl. Close. Come here talk to the girl. And enough him too enough. When him come, this is the ID, police. What are you doing here? These hours supposed to anyway going to school.
This was about what time?
About between 20 past 6, in between them time there. So, can't do nothing more. So, when me get upset now, I say, who you brother? Police. I say, yo, go on, because you talk to our family. Go on, about your business. Nobody in the street, you know. I just want a woman lean up on me and she. But you me know she. You know, so, what you doing so early? I say, tell me what go on. And that's the reason why. Boom, you walk up the road. What you go on now? If me never did that, because when I talk to the girl, see look at the girl, I stuck on me.
You realize something?
So I realize that something gone bad, but you want me to blame me look at girl for. She never tell me, say, I know police, they're on the ID. She said she tell me about you. Me I get upset. Me never hear.
People on the scene say this evening the man again tried to abduct the girl. They say they intervened and drew the man to the police station. Reinforcement was called in and the alleged abductor was moved to the Central Police Station. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
Some taxi operators are livid this evening as they feel the profession is being painted in a bad light on the heels of recent violent attacks against women and children. Operators of public passenger vehicles have been featured in some of the incidents, prompting the police to issue warnings to female passengers. Today, taxi operators in Portmore St. Catherine took to the streets to condemn the crime wave and at the same time sought to dissociate themselves from the worrying trends. TVJ's Dara Smith reports.
A protest by taxi operators in Portmore St. Catherine. Not over bad roads, but bad publicity being meted out to them in recent times. There have been numerous reports of females being taken away and sexually assaulted by taxi operators in the area. So today, taxi operators were speaking out.
They are demonstrate and a protest against the rape in our area going because they must say taxi man a raper and all these things, but we out here look at honest living on a day-to-day basis, you get me? So one them see our face and know the real man them are on the road.
People come on the road that don't come from around here and pose as taximen. They are not taximen, so people, you're on the road every day and you know the taximan them and you're used to it, so just work with who you know and don't take no strange vehicle. If you see a strange vehicle, just report it.
They argue that the legitimate operators who have been working the Portmore routes for years are not taking away their passengers. But reports of passengers being taken away and raped have made it bad for business.
I have to rape for the pit of them. My daughter got alpha, I can't take no more, I don't make no money. Taxi me run, for send her to school, for pay me rent, for do everything. Right now the people them not take with care because them say we are rape and yo, you see 17 and the greater Portmore people, them will not do that. We'd rather you 100. More time the people them disrespect, but we just take it. But you hear what, because 100 is so important.
100 as in $100, the price being paid by passengers. The operators who gathered at the 100-man police station then drove in a motorcade through several Portmore communities to educate residents. Their protest ended at the Portmore Mall, where they received support from passengers.
I drive with who I know. Who I know I'm safe with for years. I'm not going a new car. I'm not frightened of a new taxi boat here. I take them on me no man. I'm take JUTC, simple.
So with the issue of security affecting their livelihood, the operators were asked if wearing a uniform would better protect them and their passengers. The answer, that's not a solution.
even if you have on a uniform, the people them still bend their head and looking at you because guess what? Some unscrupulous people who up on the road, they will put on a red plate over the white plate. You understand? And I run taxi with it. And then when they do the raping now, we get the blame as taxi man.
They believe that more police are needed to man the routes. The police in the meantime explain that there's a team working to ensure that the perpetrators are caught. Deputy Superintendent Neville Knight, in charge of the Community Safety and Security in the St. Catherine South Division, is urging parents to speak to their children about taking public passenger vehicles known to them.
And send the information to their parents so that they are aware of the taxi that they took. So if something happens, then the police can go ahead to start our investigation. Similarly, adults taking taxi, female adults, can do the same thing.
In the meantime, the DSP told TVJ News that the cops have been meeting with the operators and urging them to form an association to protect themselves. Dara Smith, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the increase in cases of violence against children has triggered multi-organizational support for a new anti-child abuse project by the Office of the Children's Advocate, OCA. The project, an animated interactive series on child abuse, was launched at the OCA's office in downtown Kingston on Tuesday. TVJ's Herman Green reports.
The increase in reports of abuse against children is at the center of the Office of the Children's Advocate, OCA's launch of its newest public education initiative, Aria's Story. Children's Advocate Diane Gordon Harrison says the online animated series will meet children where they are while providing a platform for reports.
Twitter chats will be hosted at critical points across episodes to engage the public and to ensure that the larger messages are not being lost. And we think that this will be a very real way to keep Jamaicans engaged in the process and to hear their feedback on the various issues that will be presented.
State Minister in the Education Ministry, Floyd Green, indicated with concern that the number of children murdered over the past few years has ballooned.
We went through the very unfortunate procedure of adding names to the monument that was established to note children who have died in violent circumstances. And we, in May of last year, added the names of those who have died in the past 4 years. And what we recognize is that the monument has run out of space.
With cases of abuse against women also increasing, the parliamentary opposition has also endorsed the OCA's new program.
You know, there was a time in Jamaica, and I'm not that old, where women and children were off limits to criminals. You know, it was something that was frowned upon if you committed an act of violence against women or children. And now, unfortunately, it seems to be the norm. And it is something that we have to address. It's not an issue just for the government alone, but for all stakeholders to play a role.
The project is funded through the Canadian Fund for Local Initiatives. The High Commissioner of Canada to Jamaica, Sylvan Fabi, explained his support of the program.
It's a nice way to expose children to the fact that these things exist, but especially when they are a victim of it, that they know it's not only them, that this project will allow them to find solutions. Because can you imagine if you're abused by an adult who threatens to kill your parents if you say something, and you're 7 years old? What do?
Aria's Story premieres online next Monday with daily updates on the series.
I commend the OCA, and we completely support the drive. And we believe that we all have to work together. It has to be all hands on deck if we are to truly treat with the issue of the abuse of our children.
Herman Green, TVJ News.
To a primetime news follow-up now. The Seventh-day Adventist elder charged last week for allegedly having sex with a minor was remanded when his case was mentioned in the Port Maria Parish Court yesterday. 41-year-old Nari Hudson, who is charged with 3 offences, is set to return to court on February 13. He has been charged with grievous sexual assault, sexual grooming, and having sex with a person under 16 years old. Mr. Hudson is an elder at the Haywood Hall Seventh-day Adventist Church in Whitehall, St. Mary. He was arrested after the Centre for the Investigation of Sexual Offences and the Child Abuse, CISOCA, collected statements from a 14-year-old girl.
Now, meanwhile, the mother of the 14-year-old girl at the center of the sexual abuse case involving the Seventh-day Adventist elder in St. Mary says she's been ostracized by members of both the church and the community.
I honestly believe that somebody could have said something to us, even say, okay, we are praying for you then. You understand? But nobody says anything to us, right? There are some who say that we are lying. There are some who say that we bring down evil on their community.
She adds that the elder is her close friend and she's hurt by the current situation.
If you are going to defend the wrong, you are saying it's okay. It's okay for you to hurt the children. It's for you to murder women and children. It's for you to go and commit a crime and you are defending. You are saying it's okay. I think those who say it's okay should be locked up too. Let the law handle it. Those of us who know how to pray, pray to God. He will answer. For the rest of those who don't know anything about this and it's not their business, leave it alone.
In another primetime news follow-up, an autopsy scheduled to be done at the end of this week to determine the cause of death of a 23-year-old woman who was found dead in a barrel in St. Thomas. Niall Brown, an employee of Burger King Crossroads branch, was reported missing days before her body was found. TVJ News has learned that her ex-boyfriend, who is being questioned by the police, has since been released. Two persons of interest, however, remain in custody. They are the deceased woman's landlord and the landlord's boyfriend. The two have been in police custody since Monday.
Our top story this evening, high drama in downtown Kingston while residents hold man accused of trying to abduct schoolgirl and turned him over to the police. Still ahead, the police seek a popular entertainer. And in the business news, NIR dips in January. We'll be right back.
Primetime News is brought to you by
It's a big deal business. Taste the flavor, you can't resist. KFC, so good.
Start saving for your child's education with as little as $500 with Sigma Educator.
The time by Sagicor Investments is
7:15.
Welcome to KFC.
No, none is a 5-piece Christmas.
Alright, can I have 3 5-piece Christmas, please?
Leo, pass one of them Christmas, Leo.
That smells good.
KFC Christmas.
Why the box is empty? Where's mine?
Tender, juicy, crispy, 100% real chicken. Bones not Can I have included. 1 10-piece? I mean 2 10-piece Christmas, please. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Antoinette Perkins, Ricardo Williams, Owen Lewis, Sudani Reed, DeAndre Kamak and Phil Williams, James Simpson. What do they have in common? They own JN Bank.
I use JN Visa credit card. I enjoy a low interest rate and I pay on the reducing balance. That's awesome.
All my banking is done with JN Bank. It's the easiest way to service my mortgage, pay my bills and save. Just right for me.
I pay my staff, all my company bills and standing orders too.
Make JN Bank your main bank and experience the extraordinary benefits. Residential and commercial mortgages, targeted savings products, credit cards, auto and unsecured loans, business and real estate development loans. Wow, these are just some of the benefits that await you when you make JN Bank your main financial partner.
You're in control, the #1 member-owned bank. Enjoy the experience.
JN Bank will help you find a way.
You know, I think my Rhodey Burger is the better king deal.
No, the chicken crisp sandwich is better.
Juicy Rhodey Burger, small fries, 16-ounce soda, $375.
So, delicious chicken crisp sandwich, small fries, small Coke, $375, same thing.
Yeah, but I said it first though.
Dive into a chicken crisp sandwich or a rodeo burger, both served with small fries and a 16-ounce Coca-Cola, only $375 each. BK King deals, only at Burger King.
Welcome back. Continuing the news. Chairman of the Violence Prevention Alliance, Dr. Elizabeth Ward, is defending the National Security Minister, Robert Montague, on his crime-fighting strategies. She says the Security Minister is making an effort in this fight. TVJ Shamela Mitchell reports.
Last month, the Security Minister, Robert Montague, was criticized by his opposition counterpart, Peter Bunting, who said he needs to stop cracking jokes and tackle crime.
So it must be a cause for concern for all well-thinking Jamaicans. And I'm especially concerned because the minister doesn't seem very focused. Seems more interested in scoring sound bites, from his uncle Obiaman to, criticizing the police about the use of condoms to having Bounty and Ninja Man entertaining.
But according to Chair for the Violence Prevention Alliance, VPA, Dr. Elizabeth Ward, the Security Minister has been working.
He's working hard on doing it. But one person and one ministry in isolation alone will not be able, because crime is multifaceted and we have to have a multifaceted approach.
Dr. Ward added that despite crime seemingly spiraling out of control, this is not the worst the country has seen.
The worst, actually, we track it over the years, and I could show you the graphs. When we had the political violence in the 70s, remind me? You remember that election where we had 800 people die within, this very short period, Anthony? That was one of the worst periods. But everybody got together, and actually that was when we were able to try and start breaking, and the communities broke the link with the politicians that were involved in crime and violence.
On the other hand, Dr. Ward says more needs to be done in crime prevention. She says the Ministry of National Security has implemented strategies in dealing with the current crime wave in the country.
There are holes in the safety net, and this is where the type of work we do and other research is important, because there are gaps. And one of the big problems is that we have very easy access to weapons. And this is one of the issues that the Security Ministry is doing at our ports, on our coastline, and easy access to bullets.
Shamala Mitchell, TVJ News.
Detectives from the Criminal Investigations Branch are seeking popular entertainer Erland Bartley, otherwise called Alkaline. Alkaline is wanted for questioning in relation to a case, as the police believe he can assist them with the investigations. He is being asked to report to the Area 4 headquarters, Harmon Barracks, in Vineyard Town, Kingston 2 by 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid is now in receipt of 2 reports on the recent controversy surrounding Principal of Hampton School, Heather Murray. One of the reports is from Mrs. Murray, while the other is from the board chairman. In a statement, the Education Ministry said Mrs. Murray's report was submitted through her lawyer, while the board chairman's report was submitted on Friday afternoon. The minister will review the reports and then have a follow-up meeting with the full board by February 18. The minister had asked for a full report, including the minutes from a Hampton board meeting of January 12. Mrs. Murray came under intense criticism after turning up at the St. Elizabeth Parish Court last month while the pastor of the Nazareth Moravian Church in Manchester, Rupert Clark, was answering a charge of having sex with a minor.
There are more calls for proper lighting along the west leg of Highway 2000, also known as the PJ Patterson Highway, following an incident last night. At least 6 vehicles were damaged after coming in contact with pieces of a truck tire which blew out along the road.
The Vineyards Toll Plaza Monday night along the PJ Patterson Highway, which runs from St. Catherine into Clarendon. 6 vehicles were reportedly damaged because of what motorists have described as poor visibility due to the lack of streetlights. Keisha Wright was one of the affected motorists.
We're up on the highway, sir, and we see something on the road. By the time we look, we lick something and it lick in our front, and the next car in front we pull over and we look behind how everybody pull over. Our piece of truck tire them left in our road. And one man said this happened to him last week. And you know when things happen up on the highway, you're supposed to put up signs, say caution of this and caution of that. When if you put up caution, broken tires from trucks that drive on this road might be here. Please look safe at night. No light not up on the highway.
She argues that this is a recipe for disaster and the lights are needed. As a result of the incident, her vehicle had some minor damage. And she was not alone. Another motorist who did not want to appear on camera explained what happened.
I was driving and I felt a bump. We went over something. When we got a chance and we pulled off the road and came around and examined the vehicle, all of this here came apart, was hanging down right across. And my husband, came out and tried to snap everything back in so that we could have gotten on our way. We realized that, a lot of persons were experiencing the same thing. A lot of persons were pulling off the road, checking their vehicle to see what was happening.
The affected motorists went to the highway office where they were given a form to fill out. But they told TVJ News that they're disappointed by the treatment meted out to them by the staff.
I think how they dealt with it, it is very unprofessional, I must say. And they need to have somebody here. So when stuff like this happen, somebody can come out, assess the damage, take pictures, do a formal report, and advise the motorists. Because if it wasn't for that, then this wouldn't reach the media.
The motorists argue that this is not the first incident of this nature and immediate action is needed. Dara Smith, TVJ News.
And in response to the incident, the toll authorities say they will liaise with the insurance company of the truck driver to secure compensation for affected motorists. 4 persons have reportedly filled out complaint forms supplied by the toll authorities. The operators of the highway say they arrived on the scene of the incident about 23 minutes after getting the report. They realized that one of the tires on a dump truck blew out. While the emergency response crew was on their way to the scene between Spanish Town and Vineyards, the affected motorists arrived at the administrative offices to make their complaints. Toll authorities say the motorists became extremely boisterous and the police were called to maintain order.
The traffic police want to see video presentation included in the examination process for persons to obtain a driver's license. Concerns are being raised about persons not being able to understand some parts of the country's road network, which often leads to accidents. TVJ Shamela Mitchell reports.
St. Anne, St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew, Hanover, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth are the top 7 parishes that saw the highest number of road fatalities in 2016. Head of Traffic Police, Senior Superintendent Calvin Allen, wants to see a more rigorous process when persons are applying for driver's licenses.
Our roadway is no area to play around, and this is whether you're walking or you're driving. And I believe that when you examine what obtains in other countries in terms of the rigors that one has to go through to obtain a driver's license, I'm saying that we need to enact a system that is far more rigid in that regard.
SSP Allen also points to a recent incident that required his intervention to drive home his point.
I drove into a plaza recently and I saw where an individual was having grave difficulty in parking the vehicle in a clear laid out area of a parking. Person was having a major challenge to park the vehicle and I stood there and I watched and I eventually had to intervene.
This is why Operations Office of the Traffic and Highway Division, Superintendent of Police Courtney Kubri, emphasized that it should not just be about the books. Superintendent Kubri says a video presentation must be a part of the process when a person goes to get a driver's license.
With driving schools, the driving school instructors and so should go about all over the country, video long stretches of road like the Landover Main Road and other roads where road signs and markings are, and when that person comes in for those lessons, that person is shown all type of signs and markings like the person would be traversing it. I don't think that is happening.
Shamela Mitchell, TVJ News.
Concern is being raised about the frequency of National Water Commission NWC water mains being broken along the Mandela Highway in St. Catherine. For the second time in 3 weeks, an NWC main broke, causing major traffic delays and a disruption in water supply for customers. President of the NWC, Mark Barnett, says the recurring breakage may be due to the ongoing road work being done in the area. But with the recurring breakage and inconveniences, why doesn't the NWC relocate the pipe? Mr. Barnett says the plan is on the cards. However, with road repairs expected to fill that area in some 3 meters, the relocation exercise will be delayed.
There's no point laying a pipe now for it to be 3 meters backfilled upon. That's just not necessary. Plus, it is not our intention to have the pipe embedded to that depth. We wish to, our design, which is been working along with the NWA, is for a mount to be built using geotextile, and the pipe is laid on top of the mount. So you're more likely to see the pipe above ground exposed rather than underground.
A 15-year-old student of Nocalva Technical High School in Westmoreland is dead following a motor vehicle crash along the Petersfield Main Road this afternoon. He's been identified as Theo Lindsay. Reports are that about noon today, Theo was riding a motorcycle along the Petersfield Main Road when he slammed into a car which was driving out of a gas station. The teenager was rushed to hospital where he was pronounced dead. It is further reported that the driver of the motor vehicle fled the scene. The police are now searching for him. In an effort to curtail traffic congestion in the parish, the St. Mary Police have been conducting a series of operations, with the latest one being yesterday. Details from TVJ's Tamaya Henry.
It is a rare occurrence for buses, taxis and passengers conducting business in the towns to use the transport center. And so the alternatives, more often than not, contribute to the frequent traffic pileup. Officer in charge of St. Mary, SSP Fabian Ferguson, says the matter is getting out of hand and the area of focus is the corridor from Port Antonio to Ocho Rios. SSP Ferguson added that Port Antonio, Anota Bay and Orakabessa are prone to congestion.
Last week, you could not see what the town looks like. We started our operation here this morning, and so far you can have a visual of the town and have an appreciation of what the town actually looks like. Now, we have to keep this place clean and clear. If there's any emergency, this is a route that we have to use. We depend on tourism a lot. We have a lot of tourists traverse this area, and it's a disgrace when they come through and they are stuck in traffic in a town like this.
SSP Ferguson says the traffic does not have to be an issue for the parish if public passenger vehicles and vendors occupy the designated areas.
If you can see the town, when the delivery trucks come, they have nowhere to do delivery other than on the street. So therefore, if we have the vendors on the sidewalk and the vendors with cart next to the sidewalk and the delivery truck outside of the vendors on the side outside the sidewalk, you find that there's no space for two-way traffic and for pedestrian. So the pedestrian have to be competing with the traffic, which causes congestion. So we want to keep it this way.
One of the officers in charge of traffic, DSP Adams, says, based on his observation, drivers are not obeying the traffic laws.
What we have seen so far is that there's a high level of disregard for some of the basic traffic laws. The main one is the wearing of seat belts. Majority of our prosecutions so far are seat belts. What we are observing next is that there's a high level of defects among some of the vehicles that we have checked, and so we have removed some plates in that regard.
Tamaya Henry, TVJ News.
Before the break, Janella has been monitoring comments on social media.
Thank you very much, Doreen. Well, tonight we've been asking this question: how have reports of abduction and other crimes influenced the way in which you now use taxis? Carol Lee Campbell says, it is scary. I only go from work to home and somebody's always at my gate to see which taxi I take. Can't trust anybody nowadays, taking no chances. 6 p.m. not catching me on the road either. Dor Rat says, yes, most definitely. I'm certainly more cognizant of my surroundings and I'm looking to see who else is in the vehicle. Unfortunately, if I'm not feeling comfortable with the person or persons already in, I'm not going. It's really sad and scary, but it is what it is. Need to hear from those in authority. It's silent treatment from the heads of government. A final one here from Kevin Paul, who says it's very scary. I don't take taxi at night or during the day. Straight JUTC bus for me. The government needs to pass harsher laws regarding abduction and other serious crimes. Still waiting on the crime plan. You can keep those comments coming at facebook.com/Television Jamaica and tweet us at Television Jam. The business day is next.
On E-Prime tonight, Bugle's album debuts on the Swedish iTunes chart and Tifa gearing up for her Valentine Crush tour.
Primetime News is brought to you by
It's a big deal business. Taste the flavor, you can't resist. KFC, so good.
Your 3% heart contribution is training the Jamaican workforce. For more on your 3% contribution, visit heart-nta.org. The time by Heart Trust NTA is...
This year, the Hypro rewards are bigger and better. Bigger! One lucky winner will drive home a 2017 Toyota RAV4. Better! With over 30,000 winners from now until July 29, the rewards can't miss you. Every week, we're giving away over 1,000 prizes, such as $30,000 towards a Quartz Farm Store purchase, bags of feed, $2,500 to spend at your local farm store, or thousands of dollars in digital credit. Simply purchase a qualifying Hypro product to enter. It pays to grow with Hypro.
There's something new and amazing that mommy buys called Surge lactose-free cow's milk. It's real milk that's easy on my tummy and tastes really yummy. This week, everyone can enjoy real milk now. Mommy says with lactose-free milk, she lives worry-free. There's 1% for mommy and daddy, full cream for me. Look at milk now.
Introducing Surge lactose-free cow's milk. Enjoy real milk. Available island-wide.
Business Day is brought to you by...
And Grandma, it's so much fun. You're going to love the world.
A very good evening to you and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Dwayne Burbick. The country's net international reserves NIR dipped by almost $250 million in January. The dip took the reserves to $2.4 billion. At that level, the reserves are capable of purchasing 20 weeks of imports. Oil prices fell more than 1% on Tuesday as evidence of a burgeoning revival in U.S. shale production could complicate efforts by OPEC and other producers to reduce a supply glut. Oil for delivery in March ended trading today down 84 cents or 1.6% lower. It closed at $52.17 per barrel. And currency trading ended today with the US dollar selling for $128.08, recouping some of that 14-cent loss from yesterday. The Canadian dollar costs $97.80. The pound sterling is selling for $159.46, while the euro, that goes for $135.86. The Joseph Matalan-led First Angels Jamaica has signed on a new entrepreneur to the First Angels Jamaica network. That network helps entrepreneurs in need find funding for their business. Dashan Hendricks tells us more.
Set up in 2014, First Angels Jamaica brings patient capital to businesses, giving them the chance to grow.
We invest in the companies and wait for 5, even 7 to 10 years to be repaid.
In fact, investing in these businesses, there's no guarantee of a return.
What we need to do in Jamaica, as far as I'm concerned, is to develop a new entrepreneurial class, young people coming up that are interested and passionate about entrepreneurship, because it is that group of entrepreneurs that can really give us sustainable growth.
But First Angels, being true to its cause, continues to push the envelope, getting investments for small firms badly in need of capital.
We now have 5 investments that we have made for a total of $611,803 and our investments are, in companies that are quite varied.
Fingers crossed, all of the investees seem to be doing reasonably well. I have very high hopes for Lone Cirrus in particular. They have a loan management platform that is certainly the best loan management platform I have ever seen. It's picking up a lot of traction, not just in Jamaica, but in a number of overseas markets. So I'm very positive about that.
Loan Cirrus is a software company that has developed a loan management system which is still being fitted to the market.
We're always improving it. We're always adding new features. So that means if you're a small lending business, as you're growing, the software is growing with you.
As for First Angels, the company has 28 investor members and hopes to attract 6 more by the end of March to finance new projects for sustainable growth. For the Business Day, I am Dashan Hendricks.
Stocks ended mostly higher today, pushing both the main market and junior markets into new record territory. On the main market, the index jumped by more than 5,212 points to close at 226,816 points, while the junior market index gained more than 48 to close at 3,029. The winners of the day included 1834 Investments, Berger Paints, Caribbean Cream, General Accident, Honeybun, Jamaica Stock Exchange, Kingston Wharves, Lasco Distributors, Pan Jam, the Scotia Group and T-Tech. On the losing end were CSC 2000, Carib Cement, the Cayley Group, Lasco Manufacturing, NCB and Pulse Investments. And that's your Business Day. I'm Dwayne Burbick. Good evening.
Business Day is brought to you by...
And Grandma, it's so much fun. You're going to love the world.
The international segment of Primetime News is brought to you by
NCB Credit Card Installment Plans. For more information, visit jncb.com/0 or call our customer care center at 1-888-NCB-FIRST.
U.S. President Donald Trump today faced critical tests over policy and personnel. 3 federal judges are hearing arguments over whether to uphold the suspension of his travel ban, as Trump's pick to head the Education Department is confirmed in a historical vote. All this while President Trump escalates his battle with the media.
The fate of President Trump's travel ban is in the hands of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals today, and Trump said he's prepared to take this fight all the way to the top.
Is it going to go to the Supreme Court, you think?
Good. And we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't have to. It's common sense.
The president also doubling down on his attacks on the media during a meeting with county sheriffs.
I understand the total dishonesty of the media better than anybody, and I let people know it.
After falsely claiming the media has underreported many of the largest terror attacks.
All over Europe, it's happening. It's gotten to a point where it's not even being reported. And in many cases, the very, very dishonest press doesn't want to report it.
The White House still under fire after releasing a list of 78, quote, underreported terror attacks.
It's becoming too often that we're seeing these attacks not get the spectacular attention that they deserve.
All of this slightly overshadowing a victory for the president, the confirmation of one of his most embattled cabinet nominees.
Vice President votes.
Vice President Mike Pence casting the first ever tie-breaking vote to confirm a cabinet member. Betsy DeVos, Trump's pick for education secretary.
But that's kind of
the vote ending a marathon all-night session by Senate Democrats in their last-ditch effort.
I urge my Republican friends, and we just need one more,
to get a single Republican to defect to derail DeVos.
Police say at least 20 people are dead after a suicide blast outside Afghanistan's Supreme Court in Kabul today. According to a spokesman for Kabul's chief of police, a suicide bomber detonated his explosives in a parking lot near the court in the Afghan capital. The attack targeted Supreme Court employees as they were leaving for the day. At least 35 people were wounded in the blast.